So I thought I'd try something different today. Bit of a walk-in one. But if you guys watched my stream the other day, there was like a cat. I think it was a cat giving birth, if I remember correctly, and it was actually over here. Yeah, sounded like a baby getting murdered, to be completely honest. Anyways, I'm walking through that forest now, or at least we're about to enter it. I brought my pair of Converse. Probably a mistake. I didn't realize how muddy it was. But yeah. So there's a lot of stuff been going on right now. I don't know if you guys keep up with American media. It's sort of easy to become worldwide when it is a US thing though. But there's the whole Charlottesville thing going on. Yeah, it's a pretty big deal. And I think Barack Obama, whether you love him or hate him, he usually has something decent to say about a situation. Ooh, it's getting dark. He usually has something decent to say about most situations, and I think it's pretty good because today he actually sent out a few tweets where he quoted Mandela. Check this, boys. Never actually seen that lock before. There we go. Replace my white sheen with a thing of mud. So there's this thing in African culture, at least back in South Africa, it's very prevalent, with this word called Ubuntu. Ubuntu. And you probably know the word, I wouldn't be surprised if you did, as a Linux OS. Hello. As a Linux operating system, at least a designation Ubuntu. And what that means is that let's go take a look over here actually. What that means is that you're probably aware of it, but the source of the word is actually a Zulu word called Ubuntu. And now there is a strict English definition of what it actually means, and that definition isn't wrong. But for the grand scheme of things, it is actually wrong. Lots of people walking by. Hello. In the grand scheme of things, it is actually a wrong designation of a word, because Ubuntu is the coming together of everything, of all humans, no matter what their caste. It is the passion, the embodiment of kindness, and it is a massive deal back in Africa. In fact, it's so big that it is one of the core tenets of what I was brought up in. And if you're unaware, I'm white. In fact, African is something that people most often associate with people of darker skin colors, and that doesn't mean where they come from. It is the color of the skin is African, you know. In America they say African American, even though they're not African American, they are like dark skinned. And I think that with that sort of designation, that's not really important, but it gets lost, you know, it gets lost really easily. So Ubuntu is that. It is a very core tenet of a lot of people's lives in Africa. And I was lucky enough to be born to a family of people who were not important, but were self-important. They were proud of their actions. So there was this thing in South Africa called apartheid, and apartheid was a legal system in which the black people were put down below white people in everything, in all things. So basically all laws affected them, made it worse for them. They weren't allowed to own land in certain areas. Apartheid is actually like apartness, if in English, like keep the black people away from the white. But the thing is, I mean, besides the fact that that's not a good thing to do, the worst thing is that the blacks got everything worse, and that they were like 80 to 85% of the population at that time. So it wasn't cool. My gran, on my mom's side, she's dead now. Hopefully she can see this. She was very, very staunchly anti-apartheid, and there were a few white people who were. 2 or 3% of all white people were against it, or at least they voted against it where it counts. Saying you were against it doesn't matter if you don't vote for it. And I was lucky enough to be born to my mom, who had been brought up in this household in the 50s and the 60s. I don't know if anyone is around that age. Let's go here. Ooh, it's tiring to walk here. Like, it's so uphill. I don't know if anyone was in that age, but she was brought up in a place of very staunch anti-racist stuff. Very, very anti-racist. It was like it was totally unheard of at the time. Completely and utterly unheard of. Oops. Pretty stuff, man. Bunch of mud. And so my mom was exactly the same. Beautiful place to get murdered, dude. Beautiful place to get murdered. So then that was my grand on my mom's side. It's very anti-apartheid. They moved to South Africa from England and they loved it there and just decided to stay there. Then on my dad's side, I had a grandpa, and I am actually half Jewish through this family because my dad was Jewish. And a grandpa who was in the Royal Air Force in England, and he was injured and then sent to South Africa as a watch post because there was a time when many people believed that the Nazis would attack South Africa because we had a very big coastal part of South Africa. Obviously we're the most southern part of Africa, so it's just a coast. And he was sent there as a reserve infantryman. That was in 43, I think. Well, he was the Royal Air Force, so he had his plane and everything, but he was injured. And he met a girl in South Africa called Joan, and that caused him to stay in South Africa forever. He decided to stay there, and he thought it was a beautiful place, and he wanted to stay with his wife at the time because he got married to her. I think he was 25 and she was 16. Which was just crazy. And he wanted to spend time with her. But the thing is that he was Jewish, and then his wife became Jewish because of him. I don't know if that's how it usually works, but his wife became Jewish because of him, and I was born into a Jewish family. Now, I don't know if you know about World War II, but in World War II it was a very ideological fight in that a lot of the scapegoats that the Nazis had were the Jewish people for a lot of reasons. There were a lot of things that were put on Jewish people. You know, and I'm probably gonna have someone in the comments or someone tweeted me on Twitter being like, well, Jewish people did actually do something. I don't care. But a lot of the shit was just blamed on them. And a lot of the causes of war were their fault, apparently. So, I sort of, and throughout high school I got picked on for being Jewish, too. So that was always fun. But, I'll just branch. But you sort of get out of it. So when I see the Charlottesville stuff, I'm gonna come back to what I first started talking about 8 minutes ago. When I come back to that Charlottesville stuff, it just hurts me because there are still anti-Semitics, neo-Nazis, and then people, and I don't have a problem, I don't hate Trump supporters, but, you know, when someone doesn't condemn it, it's just like, don't interrupt this lady's phone call. When you hear about Trump saying that it's a problem on both sides or something, and I don't agree with Antifa on any front, so don't take, like, I'm not a liberal in the United States of America sense. I don't agree with radical stuff either. But when you have a president who doesn't immediately condemn someone taking another person's life, then you have a real problem. And now people are going to say, you did actually condemn it. But you didn't condemn the source and the cause and everything else that comes along with it. You know what I mean? Someone is dead. And it may be one person, but that one person is not a statistic. That one person's name was Heather May. And she did not deserve to die for her beliefs that so many have died for before. Especially not in today's age. I'm not going to be like, oh, it's current year. But it is. It's 2017. We're in a time when people should not be dying for what they believe in. Now in America, it is a lot less prevalent than in other places around the world. I come from a place in South Africa where racial tensions were incredibly high all the time. Man, I went down the wrong path. Talking gets you confused, dude. In America it's a lot less prevalent, and in South Africa it is a lot more prevalent. In fact, there's still race riots going on from the radical side of things. And yes, they are absolutely radicals, and if you want an example of some of the radicals, you can actually take a look at Sibu Mpanza. You can go take a look at his channel if you want to see. He does have a lot of subs. I think he still has more than I do. But if you want to take a look at how they think, then go ahead. But besides that, it comes back to Ubuntu, and it's the belief that regardless of what the color of the skin is, they are still a person inside. And it doesn't matter how stupid they are, it doesn't matter what they believe in, it doesn't matter how stupid you think their beliefs are. It's the fact that inside their brain, they are a human being, just as deserving as everything you have for them, you know? And what could be more important than that? Understanding humanity, being able to have compassion for other humans, no matter what they believe in. So one person lies dead. The president does not condemn the source of it, which is white nationalism. Because if you watch the video, and I'm not going to link the video because it is completely and utterly horrific thing to watch, but if you watch the video, you'll see the man accelerates his car, hits a group of people, and then carries on accelerating. Then he pulls out and hits another group of people. Then he accelerates again. There was no... I saw a Fox News segment saying that he did it by accident. And I just think you have to be completely and utterly fucking insane to think that for a second. And the guy is my age. He is 20, 21. Makes me think what kind of life you have to live. What kind of people you've been indoctrinated by to think that they deserve death because you don't agree with what they believe in. Now, there are a fair share of idiots across the world. Trust me when I say that. I encounter a lot of them every day. Even when I'm streaming. We had a neo-Nazi join the stream the other day. I'm sure a lot of people actually remembered that. Oh, take a look at this. Isn't that cool? Neo-Nazi come in during the stream and he made multiple accounts to try and get me to crack or to agree with him or something. Not understanding that my belief is my own. No, I don't think you should punch a Nazi in the face. I don't think that's the right thing to do. I think they are deserving of it though. But it's not up to me or for anyone else in my position to do it. I think what the Nazis did was wrong, so for you to side with them in any way. And then you get people who are like, but they did so much for science. It's like, yeah, they did. They probably did. You're right about that. Does that excuse a single thing they did? Absolutely not. Not in any way or any form. Anyhow. Because it is horrific. It is absolutely horrific. I was privileged enough, and I will talk about this in a future video, but I was privileged enough to be able to go through my grandpa's old things. The Royal Air Force fighter. And he had a diary, and in the diary he spoke about his fear of being taken hostage or taken prisoner. Because there were no rules against Jewish people in the British Army or British Air Force fighting against the Nazis. It was sort of like, you're a soldier. And he was part of the military before they started drafting and conscription and all that, so it wasn't as widespread. People didn't understand what they were doing. They just knew it was bad. They didn't have cameras and outfits being like, oh, they're gassing people. No, they only found out the vast majority of things after the war actually ended. In fact, almost a year after the war ended. Or several months afterwards. Because it takes long. It takes long to get that sort of stuff done. But he was very scared. And I spoke about this humanizing side of people the other day, in that some people to you are just not human, they're not humanized. Because they may, you look at your dad and he's so strong. He's so strong, he always knows what to do, he always has an answer, he always has a plan. But in reality he is human, just as human as the rest of us. He's just experienced it. He's experienced similar. And he's made a plan based on what he's experienced before. So if you're watching this and you disagree with anything I say, don't worry about it. That's your right to do so. I'm not going to drive a car into you. Not anytime soon, at least. It'll be a van. And it'll be filled with Scooby snacks. And it may not hit you. It'll park up next to you and invite you in. But yeah, I'm not here to try and convince anyone. I just think that one person who has a name, Heather May, she did not deserve to die. She did not deserve to die. Not today, at least. Nice 25-minute walk to get my brain going in the morning while the video renders back at home. Beautiful place, man. It is a beautiful place that we live in. Yeah, I don't want to go on too many tangents because I probably went on 4 or 5 in this whole conversation. But I do that often, and that's what the second channel is for. It's for that kind of stuff. I wanted to make a main video on this. I really did. I really did. And I'm not scared of backlash. I'm not scared of people disagreeing with me. It's just, it's not right. It's not in the mood. It's not in the place. You know, it's not the time for it either. It's not the time. The other day we had someone join the stream and he donated $50. That's a lot of money for a lot of people, and although it's not a life-changing amount of money, it is a lot of money for someone to throw at a streamer. And I was just talking to him, and I was speaking about something similar to this, and I was like, well, the president can't say that all liberals are retarded. You know, he can't constantly berate liberals and stuff like that. And he was like, well, liberals are all retarded. Hello. 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 Oh, you are so beautiful and muddy. You have such beautiful dogs. Bye bye. They're in my video. Yeah, I hope they don't mind. Yeah. Cute dogs, man. I love dogs. Yeah. And I was saying that the president can't constantly berate people based on their belief. What kind of president is that? You know what I mean? Like, sure, he may not agree with them, and I'm sure he doesn't, and I'm sure a lot of Republicans don't. And I say Republicans with conservatives interchangeably, but it's because I don't know the American system very well. When I say liberals, I'm talking about Democrats. Even though you get conservative liberals like me. But anyways. And I said, you can't constantly do that. And the guy was like, liberals are all retarded. And I just banned him straight up. Oh, I timed him out. Like, $50 for nothing, dude. Cannot buy someone's opinion. Some streamers would probably have agreed with him straight away. When you lock on the gate. Or maybe it just didn't work until today. Anyways, some of you, if you live in England, you might actually recognize where I am. It's actually a pretty big forest. I only went to the one skirting outside of it. But it's a nice place, dude. It's a nice place. Might come do more videos in the forest. That was beautiful. Coming here in the early morning. Nothing better. When everyone is still asleep and you can just hear the birds sort of start singing a little bit. No one's shy or anxious. It's weird how that works. Yeah, the concept of Ubuntu, I recommend just going and Googling it and just taking a look at at Ubuntu, the word, just and its origin. It is a South African Zulu word. I had a domestic worker, a maid, who was Zulu, and she used to bring it up all the time. And I used to treat, a lot of people would treat them worse than regular humans, you know, like maids are scum and all this other rubbish. Anyways, I'm gonna go. All the dogs. Hello. Your dog's beautiful, eh?
Yes.
Yeah. She's in my video. Thinks I'm a freak, but that's okay. Anyways, thank you guys for watching.